everyone, Kelly here, and today I want to do a Friday reads. So I used to do these like over a year ago, I think towards the beginning of 2023. I was doing these a lot where I just kind of gave you very casual updates on Fridays about what I'm reading. And so I wasn't really planning out the videos. I was just talking about what I'm reading that week, not editing much at all, so I could just film quick, get it up quick. And since I just haven't been filming a lot since we moved here, I just feel like maybe doing Friday reads is a better way for me to be able to still have more videos where I'm telling you what's going on, and I'm just like taking forever to do my wrap-ups. Like, I should be sitting down doing my February wrap-up. I have the books here, but I just don't want to talk about them. I just don't want to do like kind of a official, like, let's talk about all my feelings about a book at the end. So let's just talk about what I'm reading now and how I'm feeling about it. So I'm just going to kind of cover everything I've been reading so far in March and my feelings about it. And so I'll split this up by like kind of the type of book. So I'll talk about my audiobooks first. So one that I'm doing very slowly because I'm reading it with my best friend and we're just reading like a couple chapters a week is The Two Towers. And so we had taken like a big break. We read The Fellowship of the Ring like at the beginning of 2023 and then took a big break in 2023. We had started this book and then took a big break because both of us had big life changes. And then we're like, oh, let's start it up again now that it's 2024. And I have to say, we're halfway through that I'm not loving the second book as much as the first, which makes me sad. I think I'm going to like it more towards the end and I'll be excited to like read it with her and talk about it. But okay, so there's this thing I just don't love with fantasy books. It happens with a lot of fantasy books, especially like epic fantasy books where there's a group of people. There's always like this time in the middle where the group of people is split up. And I get that they need to each have different like tasks they're doing. We need to have some filler in the middle, you know, to make it more of a rounded series and all that, or a longer story. But I am just not a huge fan of that because part of why I love these like books with this group that's like doing the quest together or whatever is that I like the group dynamics. So like Fellowship of the Ring, the Fellowship, I love them. I love their interactions. I love the like budding friendships that are made. And like, yeah, I just really enjoy their interactions. And then book 2, you know, we're having that like, we're separating the group. And I also don't love how we are missing a couple of the people in the group. Like we haven't seen them at all in this book yet. And so I'm trying to be like kind of spoiler free because I know a lot of people have read this and I'm being generic about what I'm saying, very general. But yeah, there's a couple characters that I haven't seen like this entire book and I just want to get back and see what they're doing. And I just miss the group dynamic. So yeah, not like disliking this, but not really feeling compelled to pick it up as much as I was with the first book. So it's just taking us longer. I think this week I'm supposed to read 2 chapters and yeah, it's just taking me a while to get to that. So that is one of my audiobooks. And since we're halfway through, I think we've been doing this for a month. It'll probably take us another month to read the second half, though I feel like the second half might speed things up just because the nature of how books generally work. And then my other audiobook is Middle Grade March. So the rest of these are actually Middle Grade March books. So if you're not interested, you don't have to watch anymore because they're all going to be middle grade. This is Song for a Whale, and this one is a contemporary, which I've said before, contemporary middle grade is not usually my genre. Like I prefer, you know, fantasy or horror or some kind of speculative fiction in my middle grade because I just don't really care about the day-to-day life of like kids in elementary and middle school because I'm a 40-some-year-old and I just don't really, you know, it's just like kind of stuff that I'm not as interested in reading about. Perfectly appropriate for the age group that these books are written for. I'm just not totally invested in like school dynamics. So I don't often pick up contemporary middle grade, but this is one that a lot of people that I know really loved. I thought it was an interesting topic. It's about a girl who is deaf and she's having a hard time in her school. She's at a new school. It's a public school. She's the only person who is deaf at the school. And so she's having some communication issues with other kids, you know, to form friendships. And then she hears about in her class this whale that also has communication issues. Like he sings at a different frequency than other whales. And so he doesn't have a pod because other whales don't understand him. And so he swims alone. And so she kind of feels a connection to this whale. And that's kind of the plot of it. And she wants to like connect with this whale and make a song for the whale and all that. And that's as much as I want to tell. I don't want to like spoil anything. I am pretty far into it because this actually has a lot of author's notes. So I think I only have like 80 pages left in this book. And the thing is, I can tell it's really well written. I can tell that this is a quality book, and I would highly recommend it to people of the age group. But I was really invested at the beginning. And then it just kind of got a little bored in the middle, and so I sped up the audiobook, and that's fine. I'm speeding up the audiobook, trying to get to the part I'm enjoying it, but it's a lot of like the like issues that come from this age, which is fine. Just why I don't love contemporary middle grade, because I'm like, I get that you're having trouble with your parents and that you're having trouble making friends at school, but I just don't care to read about it that much. So yeah, I could tell this is a quality book and would recommend it. I am just not having the most like pleasant experience reading it. Though I think I will like, because I liked the beginning, the setup. I really liked hearing about her wanting to connect with this whale, and I was really like supportive of her and the struggle she's having with her parents and all that. Like I totally was on board with her and really loving it. But I think it's because it's a contemporary, it's dragging for me in the middle because I'm just not as invested in that day-to-day kind of story. So I will be interested to see kind of how it all concludes. And I'll probably give it a higher rating than my enjoyment, because as I am not the age group for this. So I get that this is not written for me. But yeah, good quality book, just not like the thing that I am enjoying reading as much as some of the other things. So then let's talk about my ebook. I only have one book. My ebook is usually what I read at night before bed, because I hate to like hold a book in bed. I always say I'm going to just read a physical book in bed to help my eyes. You know, you're not supposed to stare at a screen right before bed, but then I never do it because I hate like laying in bed and holding a book. But I have to read before bed. It's just like to help me calm down and fall asleep. So I ended up doing an ebook. So I have this on ebook. This is Nevermore, the first book, Trials of Morgan Crow, and I'm really enjoying it. So this is a fantasy, totally in my wheelhouse when it comes to middle grade, things that I enjoy. I'm this far into it. It's taken a while because my nighttime book is always the one that takes a while because I fall asleep at some point. So I sometimes don't even get one chapter read before I fall asleep. Yeah, but I am enjoying it. I like the whole kind of magic world concept so far. She has just gotten to Nevermore at the place where I am, so I'm learning about this whole world and, you know, her being cursed and everything. This is a very popular book, so I don't know how much to talk about it, but basically our main character was born with a curse that everybody thinks she's unlucky and that she's supposed to die on her, I think it's like her 11th birthday, but instead she gets swept off to Nevermore, which we don't know much about Nevermore because, like I said, she just got there, but I am just loving it. And there's a giant cat, which you can see on the cover, which I have just met, the giant cat, and he talks, which is always fun. It's always fun to have a giant talking cat in a book. So I'm enjoying that ebook. It just takes me a long time to get through my ebook. And then I have 2 physical books that I am reading, mostly because I was reading this one, and then I got this one from the library, and I just had to start it because my friend Kara from Wild Book Garden, the day I picked this up from the library, she like sent me a message and was like, hey, I just finished Not Quite a Ghost, and it's amazing, and you'll love it. And I was like, well, I just got it from the library. I want to start it now. So that's why I have two started. So the first one I started was Snow and Rose, and this one is like a fairy tale, basically. I picked it up from Barnes & Noble because it has illustrations in it. Let me see if I can find one towards the beginning so we're not spoiling anything. Yeah, so it has illustrations. It's about these sisters, Snow and Rose, and it's very fairy tale-like. They're living out in like a little cabin in the woods, and this woods, like, they used to live in a big house. Something happened with their father, and now they're living in this little cabin in the woods, and they're finding there's like some things going on in the woods, like some magical type things happening. So it just has a very fairy tale like feel. I'm over halfway through. I'm loving the illustrations. The illustrations are beautiful. I'm liking the story. I like this is one of those, maybe I should have known this going in, but I'm okay with it because I don't mind in a fairy tale story for it to be kind of just a gentle story, kind of slow moving, and that's what this is. There's not a lot of plot. It's just a very kind of gentle story, which is fine, but I know that some people might not love that because it doesn't have a lot of action happening, but I'm liking just following Snow and Rose as they just hang out in these woods and learn about things. There's not a lot going on. I think we are headed towards something, and I can guess kind of what we are headed towards based on the foreshadowing, so I don't want to say anything, but I do enjoy where I think the story arc is going. So I'm having a good time with that. But since it is kind of just a gentle fairy tale and not much happening, it is taking me a while to read it. I'll pick it up and read 2 chapters, and I'm like, that's enough. I don't need to read more right now because I'm not like being pulled on by a plot. But yeah, I'm enjoying my time reading that. And then the other one, like I said, I picked up yesterday is Not Quite a Ghost. And this one is middle grade horror. Something like that. I think you would call it horror maybe. And this is about a girl whose family moves into this big kind of old house, and she has the room in the attic, and it has yellow wallpaper with flowers. And from the description and everything, this is like based off of the short story, The Yellow Wallpaper. And she's having like, there are some of those like issues at school. Like she's having some problems with her friend group because they are just moved to middle school where they're not in the same classroom anymore and they don't see each other at school anymore. And so she's feeling like excluded from her friend group. And normally that's not the storyline that I love reading in middle grade, but because we have this kind of like creepy what's going on in her room thing, it's still compelling me. And the writing in this is really excellent. There's like times where I just want to like highlight things, which I can't because it's a library book, but that I just really like her turn of phrase, just the way she says things. I'm just finding very, I mean, not even beautiful. It's not like flowery writing. I just find it very intriguing and brings me into the story because it's not just like super simple text. It just like really, I like the way she puts words together. And I don't know, you probably can't see the author because of the sticker, but it's Anne Ursu, and I've never read anything by her, but this is making me want to read some of her other books. She does fantasy, and I don't know if she's done other horror type books, but she does fantasy, and this, yeah, I just really enjoy the way she puts a sentence together. And it's not too sophisticated for the age group or anything, just nice writing, and I am enjoying it, and I can't wait till more like kind of creepy things happen because this cover definitely makes it seem like it's gonna get creepy. And right now it's just kind of like old house, like what's gonna happen kind of thing, since I'm just at the beginning. I think I'm only like 2 chapters in. But yeah, I am enjoying that one. And so I'm basically enjoying everything I am reading. There are just some things that maybe aren't for me, but all of them are good books. So yeah, I'm having a good week, good beginning of middle grade March. I'm starting a lot of things. As you can tell, I've started 5 middle grade books, but I have not finished any middle grade books so far for middle grade March, which, you know, there'll be a time where all of these will probably get finished at the same time, and then I'll have, you know, to start five more books. But that's just me. I just like to have different formats going at once and different types of stories, and sometimes things just compel me to pick them up right then, even though I'm not finished, which is why I always have like a million books that I'm in the middle of reading. But I want to get better at that. I don't necessarily want to get better at not having a lot going on at a time. I want to get better at like finishing a group of books before starting another group, because I have books that I started in February as part of my kind of like my project in February was to read people's favorites, like booktuber favorites. And I started a bunch towards the end of the month. And then when it became March, I was like, oh, it's middle grade March. I want to pick up all my middle grade. But I didn't finish that like group of like 4, I think I had like, maybe it was only 3. I think I have like 3 like adult books that I had started at the end of February and have gotten like partway through the book, halfway through something, and I just put them down, and who knows when I'm going to pick them up again because I'm so like compelled by the middle grade right now. So I want to get better at finishing a chunk of books. Like if I'm reading kind of by a category, finish those before moving on to another chunk of books. Like I'll always have several going on at once, but maybe like make sure I'm finishing that group before starting a new group. That's kind of all I have to say. So that's it for me. Let me know how your March is going so far, and I'll see you next time. Bye.